In part A of the qualitative analysis, we were able to separate the silver chloride with the iron copper, right? Now we are going to work with, in part B, work with the iron and the copper. So I'm going to put this away. So here, before we do anything, we do have to decrease the pH if needed. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take a stirring rod, okay, stirring rod, and you're just going to slightly dip it just so that the liquid touches the tip. Then you're going to bring in a litmus paper. It'll be like purplish in color. It's not exactly purplish, but let's just pretend it is. And then you're going to dip that liquid onto the litmus paper. The litmus paper on this one, there are different kinds. There will be 3 that you'll be introduced with, but this one, it looks something like this. So then in real scenario, it looks like this. And then the pH scale is here. We want this to be acidic. Well, how acidic? We want it to be in pH of 0.5, approximately 0.5. So how do we make it 0.5? If it's not, maybe it's too basic. If it's too basic, you're going to add in hydrochloric acid. Okay, so you add in acid. I don't have an acid liquid for you. You add in acid with a dropper. Or if it's too basic, if it's basic, if you'll add in HCl. If it's too acidic, then you'll have to add in ammonium hydroxide, okay? So, and you will do that, you will balance it. You'll have to keep on testing on the litmus paper so that you have a desired pH, which is around 0.5. You'll see it, so it'll be like more like yellowish, like greenish in color. Okay, so after you have a desired pH, what you're going to do is you're going to be adding thioacetamide. Where is it? So you're going to be adding thioacetamide, and here comes thioacetamide. And it will come down like this. I know it only shows the sulfur, not the rest of the chemical, but S will do. Thioacetamide has sulfur in it, hence why the S is there. Okay, so after you had add in the thioacetamide, you will need to heat this content. It must be done under the hood, okay, because it does smell. And in the heat, how do you heat this? Well, in the beginning of the class, you should be already taking a beaker of water. So here's my beaker. And this is, pretend there's water right here. And what you're going to do is making sure there's a clothespin. Okay, why clothespin? I'll show you in a minute. You're going to put a clothespin and that will clip the test tube. This is so that when it does heat up, it doesn't like move around or doesn't have any movement, or else sometimes the water gets in here. So you do have to clothespin it. And here's another image to show you the clothespin. So if you look over here, here's the beaker, the test tube, and that's the clothespin that's holding the test tube. And that's the hot plate. You don't want to boil it, but you definitely want to have it nice and warm, okay? Okay, now that you have this going, you're going to put it in water bath for, hot water bath for 5 minutes. And then you will go into the centrifuge. Remember to centrifuge, not only are you going to just leave it, just put this in, but you need to balance it with water. By this time, hopefully the copper and the sulfur from the thioacetamide have been reacted, and you see some murkiness in the liquid. You're going to spin this, causing the precipitant, which is the copper sulfide now, and that will go sink to the bottom, and you have iron just still floating around. Then you take a pipette, and you're going to take out the supernatant, because this is the supernatant, this is your precipitate. You're going to take out the supernatant, and put it in a clean test tube. So here's my another clean one, and probably you want to label this. You're going to take out this with the pipette and then squeeze it back into a clean test tube here. Okay, so that's my supernatant. Here's copper sulfide. So that should be your pellet or your precipitant. All right, now that you have this iron, I'm going to leave the copper sulfide to the side. Okay. Then for this guy, what you're going to do is you're going to add, oh, by the way, you do need to observe this and take pictures. You're going to add another layer, about 5 drops of thioacetamide into the solution, okay? Then you're going to heat this up as well. So when you heat this up in a boiling water bath, so here's my boiling water bath again, and make sure you close pin it, and I think about 5 minutes, then you'll see a dark precipitant. This is where the iron and the sulfur will join together and it will precipitate out. The other time, the copper was the one that joined with sulfur. That's because it's in more favor of the copper first and then iron. Okay, so now we have this. What you're going to do, again, take out of the boiling bath, take water, okay, take water, balance this out, and then spin it so that the content will sink down and the rest of the residue will be taken up by a pipette, the supernatant, and put it inside. You could actually now, well, I'm going to put this in the waste, or you could put it in a clean test tube. Okay, now we have iron sulfide precipitate. So we have iron sulfide precipitate and copper sulfide precipitate. We also have the silver chloride precipitate from part A. Now what do we do with this guy? Okay, for this guy, I'm going to come back to this. You're going to, for the copper sulfide tube, you're going to add in some acid and heat it up for 3 minutes. You're going to add in nitric acid and heat it for about 3 minutes. It will dissolve, but not all. Okay, some will dissolve. Okay, some will dissolve. And what it's going to happen is some will start to dissolve like this. Then take this out from the water bath. Then you're going to take a clean test tube with water, okay, and you're going to spin it again, okay, spin, and some will float here. The copper sulfide, there will be some copper sulfide that are still together, but a lot of them will just kind of float around. And you're going to take the supernatant now. Okay, let me take this out. You're going to take out the supernatant. Don't worry about the pellet. You're going to take out, which has copper and sulfide. You're going to take it up. You're going to take out the supernatant and get a clean test tube and then pour it back in there. Okay. Now I want to add in and introduce a new litmus paper, a blue litmus paper, not a purple one, but it's considered to be I'm sorry, not a blue one, red one. Probably confused you. Red litmus paper. Then you're going to take a stirring rod and try to test what this is like. Okay, so you're going to dip it and then put it onto the red litmus paper. If it should turn blue, okay, it should turn blue if this is basic, then you're going to just keep adding the NH3, so ammonia. You're going to keep adding or ammonium hydroxide. You're going to keep adding that until the solution becomes basic. Okay, you're going to keep adding the base until it becomes basic. onto the red litmus paper. So here you go. So add some base, dip, and then dip on here, on the red litmus paper. So if it's not turning blue, get again a little more base, and then get a stirring rod, dip, and then onto the red litmus paper. Okay, after this becomes blue, you're gonna add in even more base, and then you will observe this, take a picture of this, and you should be done with part B.